I'm Jason Petty. I used to go to school here at Bam's Kung Fu. It's been a long while, but I left, joined the army, got into some bigger, better things. Couple deployments, been here and there, a bunch of different places, and just figured I'd stop in, say what's up to the folks. Been a long time. I'm a sergeant. Actually, I used to be a platoon sergeant, but now I'm just a section chief. I got a big fistful of soldiers underneath me, so it's pretty difficult managing them. But some of the places I travel probably be Greece, Afghanistan, Iraq. I've been to Kuwait a couple times. Yeah, it's fun running around. Special forces. I really don't know how I got picked up for that. It was just one of those. Hey you. But I wound up getting all my gear. I hopped in their truck and they kicked me out. Told me to take all my gear off and get back in the truck. Next time they just said bring your civvies. So I spent the whole deployment wearing regular everyday clothes. But it was definitely fun. Man, martial arts. I came into martial arts probably, I want to say about like the 6th or 7th grade, and I stayed in there for a good while. I hung out with Mr. Marco, Mr. Rusty, a whole bunch of the other people that have made their black belt. They put a lot in. Class was definitely intense. Like you knew you were gonna get a workout. You hear the music pumping, and you just couldn't help yourself. As long as you put yourself into it, you got the best workout you could possibly get. Things I specialized in was the monkey staff. I still try to do that stuff every once in a while, sweeping the hallways.
Hit yourself in the head with the stick one time.
Oh yeah, big metal pole. The experiences I had were like the Wesley Snipes show. It was his opening for Blade, and yeah, it was awesome. Like I never thought that I would have the chance to do something like that and meet all those crazy people out there. It was awesome. Ernie Reyes Sr., Ernie Reyes Jr., the whole pack. He treated us like we were his own, and some of us, coming up in the backgrounds that we were in, we didn't necessarily have that. So it was definitely a good environment.
We have this little thing now we call martial fusion. It's a blending of hip hop music, everything that's artistic, and you guys are like the foundation of that. When people say that hip hop is something new, Bam and them just created something like that, what would you say about it? If somebody say, "Oh man, they just created that," I mean, how they just gonna put music in a class and start doing class? What would you say about that?
I wouldn't say it was just created. I would say it's more with today. I'm all up for teaching, for learning stuff the traditional way, but sometimes, you got a new student, you got to do things to, tend to his needs. You can't take a regular student, straight out the ghetto and then, right off the bat expect them to learn something traditional.
Are you from the ghetto?
Negative.
I wanted to say something. I mean, what martial arts just did for you guys as far as a relationship, and you wanted to say something to an instructor, how valuable you think just being open and letting you guys be teenagers and letting you express yourself and not preaching to you and demanding that you do certain things, but allowing you to grow. How important would you say that is, that open communication and being real with you guys in that teenage age?
I think to some points, like, you face a lot of adults and you run into a lot of adults, martial arts instructors that, when they see the teenagers coming up, they don't build relationships with them. Their relationships is always built with the adults, who they can go out with, who they can get to know a little bit better, who's a little bit more established in their lives. And they don't look at it for who are the future leaders, who are going to be the people that once they stop teaching, who is going to be the next in line to take on this? If I don't have a son, or who's going to be the next in line to be my next instructor? Because 9 times out of 10, an adult that's teaching at your martial arts school is already built into their career. They're just using it as, a life skill to keep them motivated and different things like that. The one thing that, Professor Bam did for us was he gave us a relationship to build as brothers. You had a white kid, you had a you had a Filipino, black boy. Then you had a black boy, and we all meshed like we knew each other for years, all the way from middle school all the way up. And we all came into our own, but we always kept that respect. We know we could always come to Professor Barron to and come to him with anything. Come to him if we had the biggest problem in the world, the biggest struggle in the world. And it's been a lot of times that we went through a lot of things that we couldn't talk to each other amongst those things, but they can go and talk to Professor Bam about on their own time or on in their own levels. And I think that's what's lost sometimes. They always think that you gotta be this certain way, or we don't want to. When we were teenagers, we didn't want to go to the adults because we didn't think they really would listen. And that's like the biggest problem. But that Professor Bang gave us the opportunity that we knew he would listen to us no matter what. As long as that we come in with a solution to the problem that we had, he ain't gonna tell us the solution. He can all right, so what you gonna do about it? I hear you, but what you gonna do about the change the situation?
Agree. The whole coming up as brothers. Like I firmly believe that, especially being military. You deploy with people that you work with, so that camaraderie, that brotherhood. That's something that you need. And as far as resolving problems, yeah, Mr. Bam, he would listen to us. We would present the problem, and he would ask the solution. As long as we brought the solution, yeah, he was right. He was down to listen to anything we had to say. Yeah, I'm really appreciative for that.
What would you say to that kid right now to help him make it through 18, man, because he's still struggling with wondering if he's going to live up until 18. What would you say to that kid? Speak up louder for me.
I think what I would say to the kid is, what I would say to my brother, I would say to whoever, female, girl, boy, I would say, you started out with something as a dream, and I know you're facing reality now. Everybody's saying, well, this is reality. Whatever you believed in before is superficial, is fiction. So now you gotta go get a real job. You gotta stop living those fantasies. Keep on doing what you're doing. Because that's the only thing that's that's pure in your life, that is gonna keep you consciously aware of everything that's going forward. And reach out to it. Sometimes even if the adults turn you down, you gotta keep on reaching, because it's the people that you least expect, the people that's at the top of their class that you least expect, that will sit down and give you that time of day. And that's regardless of, and I know it's crazy, regardless of Professor Bam being my father and my dad, to me he's always been my brother. So I can come to him with anything, and he would sit down and listen. He wouldn't give me the solution. He would talk to me like, hey, I feel your problem, but what's gonna be the solution? I can't tell you what to do, but I can be there to support you in whatever you do and go forward with you. But you gotta find that and that person has probably been there all this time, but you just bypassing and keep looking over it. That's what I would tell him.
Mr. Jason?
Me, what I would tell him, I'd find whatever it is that makes you happy, and continue doing it.
You didn't see all these kids grow, and you didn't see them grow because you didn't been here. You like one of the older students. How proud are you when you look at people like Jason, even Mr. Rusty, seeing Mr. Daniel, Mr. Marco and them? How valuable would you say this program is for that next generation?
I think it helps them come a long way. It teaches them that one thing is, you working so hard teaches you don't give up. You got to find a way to try to make it happen for yourself. Don't give up. And I think all of them have the capacity to keep going if something gets bad. I think we've seen it in some of their lives, some of the things they've said to me. It's been really valuable. I'm real proud of all of them.
Okay, if you want to say something to someone at my age, your age, that probably don't believe in this program or don't believe in what we see right now, what would you say to them?
I guess one of the things is I brought my own son to train with you, even though he's a second degree in another discipline.
Say the name where you brought him to train at.
I brought him to the BAMS Family Center to train with my teacher, Professor Willie Brown Johnson. I think it's a great experience for anybody.
When I was beginner belt, I remember Mr. Jason was helped swat the class, and I was always thinking of him as the funny guy, and always making us laugh. And so when I teach the beginners class, I think of that time I gotta be the guy who's gotta bring these kids up, and I gotta be the guy that has to be a good role model for them, so that they could be like me if they come to that
Well,
stage.
I didn't really know them in like the school because I wasn't taking class at the time, but I knew them more like as a brother, like Mr. Marco, because they came over and stuff, and they told me stories. I used to put makeup on them and everything. They're like, looking back at like videos they've done of them teaching class, using their personality towards the kids, which is what we use a lot in the class. They get excited.
Just growing up, growing up. I'm just growing up around these guys. It's been a big inspiration to me. Like my whole martial arts desire and love and passion. Just seeing them being so dedicated, that just made me inspired to want to do the feats that they were able to do when I was just a kid. And using their methods that they used has helped me develop myself personally, because I wouldn't be who I was today if it wasn't for people as Mr. Jason, Mr. Rusty, Mr. Marco at the Bams Family Academy. And I just want to thank them because they've been such a big inspiration.
Like
in my
when you
life.
used to walk around with your blanket, and seeing Mr. Jason and them at the school, and what did they do to inspire you?
They always inspired me, like Mr. Jason. He was always like a friend, always could like laugh. He always made me laugh, always bring smiles to my face. I was always happy around all of them.
To a couple of adults who count you out, who don't believe that you have the maturity to step up, what would you say to those guys? As one big group, move in, Miss Naila. Mr. Jason, what would you say to him?
Man, that's pretty rough. I'm not exactly sure what I would say. I mean, I'm a firm believer that actions speak louder than words. So, I would do everything in my power to, set that person straight. Like, hey, I can do this. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm going to show you.
Okay.